We should talk price, but if you give me first dibs, and if somebody else is gonna make a deal, I'll pay. Okay, let's do it.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Parker Schnabel just spent $2.5 million to make sure he never has to deal with a neighbor again. That's right, he's buying out the landowner next door just to keep his space completely his own. No interruptions, no competition, just him and the gold. But why would he go to such extreme lengths just to be left alone? Tune in, because this move is so strange it made the CIA start investigating him. When a gold rush becomes a risk, this purchase isn't just some random plot of land, it's miles of gold-rich ground that could be a game-changer for Parker's already massive operation. It connects directly to his existing property, which means he's effectively expanding his empire without breaking a sweat. The ground includes a fully stripped pit, meaning they can jump into mining without waiting. But there's a catch. His crew is already spread too thin, and adding more land means stretching resources even further. Can the operation handle such a huge addition, or will it start to crack under pressure? Before we dive deeper, one thing is certain: this deal is far more risky than it seems, and what's coming next will leave everyone questioning Parker's biggest gamble yet. It's not just the size of the land that makes this deal insane, it's the risk involved. Dropping over $2 million in cash means serious financial strain. He claims he's not worried. After all, gold mining is all about taking big risks for big rewards. But let's be real, if things go south, this could be a disaster. The team is already warning that if even a single piece of equipment is damaged, it could shut everything down. So is this pushing the limits too far? And let's talk about the sheer scale of what's being built. With this latest purchase, nearly 10,000 acres of prime gold mining land are now under his control. That's not just a business, it's an empire. From the Dominion claim to the newly acquired sulfur-rich property, multiple mining operations are now feeding into the gold count. But expanding at this pace comes with major risks. What happens if one of these sites underperforms? What if the crew, already struggling with manpower, can't keep up? The cracks in the operation are starting to show, and this bold move might just be the one that pushes it too far. Things got tense when they tried to get their wash plant bob running on the new ground.
Really nice even water out of there.
That is. All right, get this thing shaking. Let's do it!
Everything seemed to be going well until disaster struck. A key part of the plant shattered, bringing everything to a halt. No wash plant, no gold. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a potential financial catastrophe. The crew scrambled to repair it, but every second lost is money wasted. This is exactly the kind of problem that makes the decision so risky. When one thing goes wrong, the whole plan can fall apart. Desperate to keep things moving, the mechanics rushed to reinforce the plant's broken parts. Their fix was simple but effective: stronger support to stop the issue from happening again. But that's just a band-aid on a much bigger problem. The strategy relies on everything running perfectly, but mining is never that simple. One breakdown, one delay, and suddenly that $2 million investment looks more like a money pit. Is there really a plan in place if things don't go as expected? And then comes the real test. How much gold can this new land actually produce? After all, spending millions is only worth it if the return is massive. The results started rolling in, and it wasn't looking good at first. Some existing sites had already been struggling, producing lower than expected gold counts. If the new land didn't make up for it, this whole gamble could turn into a nightmare. But then the numbers finally came in for Sulphur Creek, the newest addition to the operation. The first run delivered over 140 ounces of gold, nearly double what another site had produced in a week. That's a promising start, but it doesn't erase the risk. To make this purchase truly worth it, results like this need to happen consistently. Otherwise, $2 million just vanished into the ground. As the week wrapped up, over 500 ounces of gold were pulled in. That's a solid haul, but it's only part of the equation. The real question is whether this level of production can continue. If it does, the gamble might just pay off. If it doesn't, the consequences could be serious. Parker grew up around mining, but he wasn't just following in his family's footsteps, he was working to build something even bigger. A childhood spent digging up dreams. Parker Schnabel was born in a small Alaskan town, Haines, on July 22, 1994. But let's be real, his life was never about quiet town living. His family was all about gold mining, and it didn't take long for him to follow in those muddy, gold-dusted footsteps. His grandfather, John Schnabel, ran the Big Nugget Mine, and that place became a playground before he was even old enough to ride a bike properly. While other kids were playing with toy trucks, he was out there learning to handle real heavy-duty mining equipment. By the time he was 5, summers were spent at Big Nugget, not just watching, but actually getting his hands dirty. It wasn't about fun, it was about learning the trade. He figured out how to run machinery before his legs were long enough to reach the pedals, which says a lot about the kind of kid he was. While most kids were learning how to read, he was learning how to dig up wealth from the ground. He wasn't afraid to get covered in dirt or take on jobs that most adults would struggle with. Mining wasn't just something he did, it became a way of life. His teenage years weren't all about school dances and basketball games, though he did manage to play varsity ball at Haines High School. He was good at it too, showing the same leadership on the court that would later be used to run a mining crew. But let's be honest, school was never the priority. There was always an itch to get back to the mine, learning hands-on instead of sitting through lectures. By the time high school ended, there was a choice to make: go to college like everyone else or put everything into gold mining. No prizes for guessing which path was taken. At just 16, he took over daily operations at Big Nugget Mine after his grandfather stepped back.
Parker is sitting on top of the world. He has visions that he's going to make thousands of dollars every day, and I hope he's right.
Imagine trying to tell a bunch of grown men what to do at that age. But it wasn't just about giving orders, he led by example. The equipment, the land, the work, it was all second nature. And success didn't take long. Gold was pulled from the earth in amounts that made people pay attention. It wasn't just some lucky kid playing in the dirt, he was the real deal. That reputation got noticed by the Discovery Channel, and in 2010, he became one of the main faces of Gold Rush. This wasn't just scripted reality nonsense. This was real work, real risks, and real paydays. Viewers watched as a kid figuring things out turned into a powerhouse in the mining world. And it wasn't just beginner's luck. Every season meant reinvesting, buying better equipment, and chasing bigger paydays. But it wasn't always smooth sailing. Mining is brutal work, and there have been plenty of losses and risks that didn't pan out. There have been head-to-head battles with experienced miners, tough terrain, and weather that can shut down entire operations in a blink. But every time things went south, the comeback was bigger, often digging up more gold than before. It's not just about playing the game, it's about rewriting the rules. That's why people keep tuning in, season after season. They want to see what's next and how it will be pulled off. The hunger for bigger challenges led to Gold Rush Parker's Trail, a spinoff that followed him beyond Alaska, exploring gold mining in places most wouldn't dare step foot in. It's not just about getting rich, it's about proving that success can happen anywhere. From working the same mine he grew up on to leading expeditions in some of the most dangerous and unpredictable places on the planet, he makes it look easy. Despite all the success, there's still respect for where it all began. His grandfather's lessons still matter, and it's about more than just money. It's about building something bigger. Mining isn't just an old-fashioned trade, it's an evolving industry with real power behind it. The easy way out was never an option. Every dollar earned goes right back into the operation, because in this world, standing still means getting left behind. Running the family mine was only the start. What happened next pushed Parker to take bigger risks and chase even more gold. From rookie to gold mining king. Parker Schnabel has been digging up gold on TV for years, but let's be real. His rise to success wasn't just about skill, it was about guts, stubbornness, and taking risks that would have scared off most grown men. He didn't ease into the game. He jumped in head first, taking over the Big Nugget Mine while most kids his age were worrying about high school exams. His grandfather, John Schnabel, left behind a legacy, and it wasn't about to go to waste. Instead, the gold rush became an obsession, a challenge that had to be conquered no matter what it took. The real test came at 18. Most teenagers are figuring out college or their first jobs, but he was out there making million-dollar bets on dirt. Cutting ties with the family mine, he took a massive risk by leasing Scribner Creek from Tony Beats, one of the most intimidating miners in the business. His own money was on the line, and one wrong move could wipe everything out. The road wasn't easy. Equipment broke down, the weather was brutal, and the pressure was suffocating. But in the end, over 1,000 ounces of gold were pulled from the ground, proving this wasn't just some kid playing in the dirt. This was the work of a serious competitor. With that win under his belt, the operation doubled down in the next season. Fine-tuning strategies, investing in better machines, and pushing the team harder than ever led to record-breaking results. Over 2,500 ounces of gold, worth almost $3 million, changed everything. It wasn't just about proving a point anymore. A real mining empire was forming. But the hunger for more didn't stop there. The next season had one clear goal: break records. 3,000 ounces was the target, and there was no plan to settle for less. With everything in overdrive, the final numbers hit over 3,300 ounces. That wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Keeping up with the old-timers wasn't enough. Outpacing them was the goal. But with success came new challenges, and those were about to hit harder than ever. Season after season, the stakes kept rising. Competitors stepped up, making it tougher to stay ahead. The pressure never let up, but there was no slowing down. Season 7 ended with over 4,300 ounces mined, bringing in more than $5 million. That kind of money wasn't just a personal victory, it reshaped the way people looked at mining. A young guy with enough drive and smarts was proving he could outshine even the most experienced veterans. But working someone else's land was never the long-term goal. Full control was the next step. In Season 9, the move that separated him from the rest finally happened: the purchase of a personal claim. No more lease fees, no more answering to landlords. It was a bold, expensive gamble, but if it worked, the payoff would be massive. And massive it was. Over 7,400 ounces were mined, raking in nearly $9 million. This wasn't just a career high point, it was a defining moment for the entire show. Even after hitting that milestone, the challenges didn't stop. In Season 10, equipment failures, treacherous terrain, and rising costs threatened to slow everything down. But true to form, the fight continued, and over 7,200 ounces were still pulled in. With gold prices surging, that haul was worth nearly $11 million. This wasn't just about surviving in the gold mining world, it was about dominating it. The key to staying ahead? Adaptation. While others stuck to old-school techniques, there was always a search for ways to improve. State-of-the-art equipment, streamlined operations, and an obsession with efficiency kept the numbers growing. That willingness to embrace change made all the difference. The team, once just a ragtag group, became a well-oiled machine capable of meeting insane goals under crushing pressure. Leadership evolved too. In the early days, it was all about hands-on work and high expectations. If something wasn't right, the crew heard about it. But over time, stepping back, trusting the team, and focusing on the big picture became the new approach. That shift allowed bigger projects to take shape, expanding the operation and solidifying a place at the top of the mining world. But gold mining wasn't the only ambition. Curiosity pushed the search beyond North America, leading to explorations in South America. The goal was simple.
It's a very big land package they've got, pretty much untouched, and I think that there's a lot of potential.
See if the same principles that worked in the Yukon could apply in other parts of the world. It was a bold move, but it showed this wasn't just about short-term wins. The future was always part of the plan. Personal growth is impossible to ignore. A teenager learning the ropes became a seasoned leader calling the shots. Along the way, there were betrayals, brutal losses, and crushing setbacks, but none of it ever slowed him down. This story isn't just about digging up gold. It's about resilience, a strategy, and an unshakable drive to win. Parker Schnabel's rise in the gold mining world wasn't an accident. It was a mix of risk-taking, relentless hard work, and a refusal to settle for anything less than greatness. While others got comfortable, he kept pushing, setting new records, and changing the game. And if history is any indication, he's not slowing down anytime soon. The real question is, what's next? Because one thing's for sure, he's not done shaking things up yet. For years, Gold Rush has shown who can survive in the mining world, but looking back, the biggest wins and losses prove how tough it really is. Who struck gold and who lost it all? Gold mining is not for the weak, and Gold Rush has proven that time and time again. This show has thrown everything at its crews: broken machines, dangerous landscapes, and just plain bad luck. But in the end, the numbers tell the real story. Who struck gold and who just played in the dirt? Let's take a deep dive into the roller coaster of wins, losses, and downright disasters that shaped the show. Season 1 kicked things off with Todd Hoffman and his crew chasing dreams in Alaska. They came in with more confidence than skill, and it showed. Between constant equipment breakdowns and rookie mistakes, they barely scraped together 14 ounces of gold. Not exactly the life-changing fortune they were hoping for. This was just the beginning of a long, painful learning curve. Season 2 turned up the heat. Young Parker Schnabel entered the scene, taking over his grandfather's Big Nugget mine. Meanwhile, the Hoffmans moved to a new spot in the Klondike. This time, they pulled in over 90 ounces, better, but still not great. Dakota Fred Hurt, a rival miner, took over their old claim and managed to mine 80 ounces. The competition was growing and so was the pressure. By Season 3, things were getting serious. The Hoffmans split their crew to mine 2 locations at once. Finally, they hit big: 800 ounces in one season. Parker also stepped up, mining nearly 200 ounces, and Dakota Fred wasn't far behind with over 160. The numbers were growing, but so were the risks. Season 4 was a game changer. Parker took a bold risk, leasing Scribner Creek and upgrading his equipment. That gamble paid off, bringing in over 1,000 ounces. Meanwhile, the Hoffmans tried their luck in South America, hoping to strike it rich in Guyana. Instead, they walked away with just 2 ounces. Yes, 2. If there was ever a mining disaster, this was it. Season 5 was where the big league started. Parker more than doubled his haul, mining over 2,500 ounces. The Hoffmans recovered, managing over 1,300 ounces at a new claim. Then came Tony Beats, a veteran miner who introduced an old-school dredge to boost production. The stakes had never been higher. Season 6 saw Parker pushing even harder, bringing in over 3,000 ounces. The Hoffmans weren't far behind, breaking the 3,000 mark themselves. Tony Beats' gamble with the dredge started paying off, but mining was never easy. Between frozen ground and equipment failures, every ounce was hard-earned. Season 7 turned into a Gold Rush arms race. Parker's team mined over 4,000 ounces, making him a true powerhouse. Tony Beats and his crew pulled in over 2,000 ounces with their revived dredge. Meanwhile, the Hoffmans struggled through setbacks in Oregon before making a last-minute push in Colorado, ending up with just over 1,000 ounces. The gap between winners and losers was becoming painfully clear. Then came Season 8, where things got personal. Parker and Todd Hoffman made a bet. Whoever mined 5,000 ounces would win bragging rights.
I heard you're going for 5,000 ounces.
Yeah,
That's a lot of gold.
Yeah. What do you think? You've achieved everything? Because you get a little gold in your pocket?
Parker crushed the challenge, bringing in over 6,000 ounces. The Hoffmans? Not even close. With only 1,600 ounces, this season was the end of their run on the show. The dream was officially over for Todd Hoffman. By Season 9, Parker showed no signs of slowing down, mining over 7,000 ounces. Rick Ness, breaking out on his own for the first time, managed to scrape together just over 1,000 ounces. Tony Beats aimed for 6,000 but missed the mark, pulling in just under 4,000. The race for gold was only getting tougher. Season 10 threw a wrench in everyone's plans. Parker mined slightly less than the previous season, but with gold prices soaring, he still walked away with over $10 million worth. Rick Ness, on the other hand, struggled, barely hitting 500 ounces. Tony Beats moved operations and managed to pull in over 2,000 ounces, proving that even the best miners had to fight for every nugget. Season 14 came with new competition. Parker still dominated with over 7,000 ounces, while Tony Beats pulled in just over 3,000. The McCaughan family, fresh to the game, made a big first impression with over 1,500 ounces. Rick Ness returned, but his total barely passed 1,000 ounces. The gold rush wasn't slowing down, but not everyone could keep up. Across all these seasons, one thing became crystal clear. Parker Schnabel wasn't just another miner, he was a force of nature. While others came and went, he kept breaking records and pushing limits. Meanwhile, Tony Beats played the long game with his massive dredging operation. And the Hoffmans? They were proof that dreams alone don't dig gold. Is Parker Schnabel making a smart business move, or is this a sign of greed and control going too far? Tell us what you think, and remember to like and subscribe for more.